and hopefully you will find the right thing. Actually, let me see. Are you guys seeing the opening slide with Pololu? Yeah?
No.
Okay. No?
No, not yet.
How about now?
No.
How about now?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, I tend to think better in slides, so I'll start with a breath because I'm a little nervous, and maybe I can ask you to join me so we can create a kind of pause between what we just did and what we're about to do. So I'm gonna take. I'll do one more. All right. In March of 2019, at the start of the COVID lockdown, I hiked down Pololu Valley to get some fresh air and to clear my head. There, I got a clear message: write about this time, write about this place, write about who you are becoming, share it, and encourage others. And since then, I've posted a daily poem on Facebook and Tumblr as a way of making sense of the grief and chaos of COVID and these quickly changing times. And in return, my daily practice inspired and reinforced other healthy behaviors that's continuing to help me become the best version of myself physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Next one. So your time is precious, so I want to manage our 15 minutes optimally. I will share my daily creative practices with you that contributes to a radical shift in my health and well-being in this time of COVID. I'll facilitate a micro poetry workshop, and don't worry, I've designed it for all levels, and we'll teach you two poetic forms, the acrostic and the tanka. I'll give you a little bit of background on who I am and where I'm coming from, because I think that context is important. So me. I am a poet, I am a husband, I'm a cousin, I'm a favorite gay uncle, I'm a cultural advocate, and other words can describe me. I'm also recently in the last year a wellness coach for executive leaders, particularly on weight loss and maintenance. For some of you know my story. I help them with their wellness as well as achieving work-life flow, as well as organizational strategy. I'm a champion of collective impact and social impact as the director of social impact for Touching the Earth, which is part of the Dorrance family projects here in North Kohala, and a very proud, vibrant Hawaii participant. I'm more personally a whole food, plants-based eater as of December 2019. And the next slide, some of you will see. And I'm actually maintaining a 100-pound weight loss with I would say Hawaii Island as a central element of that success and all of what Hawaii provides. I would identify as a breaker of family curses. My wellness is personally motivated by a long history of family diabetes and mortality because of food-related injuries. And my current mission, I have a personal mission to improve the well-being of change makers, particularly Indigenous, people of color, and queer leadership. So I want to make the folks doing the movement work more better so we can be successful at having a more vibrant Hawaii and a more vibrant world. So I build on my wellness with daily practice recipe of movement, art making, community work, and enjoying the blessings of my family life and beautiful home here in Kohala. So what concepts go into the unique wellness recipe? Well, first, I think of the James Clear's latest book on making good habits stick. The book is called Atomic Habits, and it's the latest book that presents research data on the benefits of adopting daily small practices that actually lead to big changes. And I bet a lot of you also have daily practices, and I would love it if you could type it into the chat to see, what thing do you do, no matter how small, that is a part of your daily routine, because I would say that that is a major framework of wellness, which is a routine. I also do my poetry daily practice because, you know, research will show that creative expression, arts and culture activities demonstrate improvement in body, mind, and spirit. There is the neuroscience of creative play, like how our brain works and improves when we're in creative play, and the power of joy and that creative advantage in academics, community development, and business. So a good problem or a challenge. So the thing about creative limits, it inspires creative thinking. And so I write in poetic forms, and I'll teach you two very easy poetic forms with the notion that there's that quote of that what binds can also set you free. And then I would say that, again, going back to Moku o Keawe, it's really mana, chi, or flow that is everything. Hawaii Island is known, among other things, to be the healing island. And I think this picture speaks for itself. This happened here in Iole, and I think the recipe of wellness that includes a daily poetry practice helps me maintain. So for those who understand weight loss, it is the losing can happen fairly quickly, as you see, but the maintenance of it requires much more intention and practice. And lastly, I also work with very easy and quick poetic forms because the challenge is in maintaining regularity. So can I ask someone to read this tanka? So from that first tanka, which I was so nervous I didn't even read, I will ask somebody to read this. Can somebody?
I'll read it.
Awesome. I can't see people.
This is Janet. Janet.
Yeah,
Hi. Okay, so hopefully this is the correct one. Ready to riot. Oh, let me read at the beginning. Right to breathe, Tanka, 6/4/20. Ready to riot, planted papaya instead. Birdsong muffles grief. Kneeling on the soft dirt bed, thanking gods for each sweet, sweet breath.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much, Janet. Experiencing these radical global changes of today on Moku o Keawe is a very special and unique experience. I don't know if you remembered from that first haiku, which was written in March. We are now 3 months into quarantine. The world was on fire, literally. Ready to riot, planted papaya instead. Birdsong muffles grief. Kneeling on the soft dirt bed, thanking gods for each sweet breath. There's a way that we're protected and vulnerable living in Hawaii Island. And this poem was inspired by the grief of George Floyd's murder and the continuing rise in violence and systematic killings targeting Indigenous and people of color. And so the themes that came to me, and I would just say the experience of it is really about being at Pololu or being at Mahukona or being all of the places that make kohala kohala, and feeling and hearing this and feeling that ancestral connection. So the theme of Aina as comfort. And what does it mean that the mainland feels like it's going crazy, but if you look outside your window, everything feels kind of same kohala, but then you know it's not. And then there's, of course, not taking breathing for granted, because that we know for a lot of folks that is a thing. So I said I would share some tankas with you. Here's another view of the tanka. So what is a tanka? A tanka is the haikus. Think of it, the tanka as the haiku. You guys know haiku, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Think of the tanka as the haiku's talkative cousin, because it has more syllables than the 5, 7, 5 of the haiku. So you see it's 5, 7, 5, 7, 7. So if you could just remember that, it's like having a crossword puzzle in your brain. Don't think of it as making great art, but just think of it as a game that you're playing. And the more you engage in the spirit of play, things tend to get better. Things tend to alleviate. Tension alleviates. So I said I would teach you another poetic form. And so let's play with poetry together. This is an acrostic. So can someone read this, please? And I can't see you, so just go. Because I have full screen on.
I'll go. Mondays, you so elegant like Freddie Mercury's high notes. And
Right.
there's a spelling of myself in that.
That's right. So an acrostic poem is when the first letter of each line spells out a word or phrase when read vertically. This is kind of an old form of codes. And for those who are speak Olelo Hawaii, it makes me think of kauna and the idea of layered meanings, right? Like this is very literally, you know, the first letter spells something out, but in a way that code or art is code, right? Art is a way to kind of get more insight around your inner world. So to that end, you know, what is hiding in the everyday things of names? And that's what I love, among other things, about art and the process of art making, is that it really shines the light on the everyday mysteries of life. And to that end, I find that beautiful. And so with that, I wanted to invite you to do, this is the mini poetry, micro poetry workshop, where I want to invite you to take your name or your hometown and write an acrostic on this. And how much time do we have left, actually? Oh, did this not come out?
We can take, sorry, Joelle, we'll leave
Yeah.
and come back to the agenda to check to see where we are. We can take about 3 more minutes, I think, and still get everything else in the agenda done.
Great, let's take a couple of minutes, just take a couple minutes, get into it with your iPhone, your laptop, just lay out your name or your hometown. And for those of you, I want to encourage you to put it in the chat because I'd love to read them. And I'd also, for those of you who are inspired to read it, I'd love to hear what your name spells out from an acrostic standpoint. Joy, if you could call it so that I could have a minute left to kind of close.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
I'm hoping somebody is.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, awesome.
There. So bear with me. Okay, my name's Janet, but I actually used my hometown, which is St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh.
So I used St. Louis, didn't spell out the Saint, so it's Stlouis. And the acrostic poem I wrote is, seize the light, open up inner sorrow.
Right on. Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to read there? That's cool.
I did one.
Thank you.
This is Fred, and it is full rescue every day. Full rescue every day.
Okay, that's awesome. One more, please. Can we get one more?
And this is our 1-minute warning, Joelle, as well.
Okay, thank you.
Joelle, I'll go, but I'm sorry, I might not have followed directions because I'm taking notes, but I did my name Sally as an acrostic, and it's sensing, sensitive, approachable, listening intently, loving, life, yearning.
Awesome. Here's the thing, folks. I want to leave you with a practical tip. When I get stuck on grant reports or grant proposals, believe it or not, I use poetic forms. I actually use the acrostic a lot, where I lay out the key concepts, and then and it's another way. What you're doing is you're just entering other rooms in your brain that are available to you. So let me just say that there are many different ways you can use this to kind of make your life better. So my parting tanka is I love lucid. So we're now another 3 months out. This is September 14, 2021, out by the Kamehameha birthplace, Heiau. And it's allow, just allow. Don't take change personally. Quit hustling for worth. Remember, it's all a dream. Get lucid and use your wings. So I invite you to engage in your own daily practice. I post daily on Facebook, which may change given the list of recent whistleblower, and Tumblr, so reach out and friend me if you want to engage in some daily poetry. I want to encourage you to do it yourself. Reach out for collaboration projects, especially on building resilient hubs. We're in the middle of that. Reach out also for leadership, wellness, and weight loss thought partnering or coaching. And lastly, I'm considering starting, I have an existing creativity and coaching group, and I'm thinking about starting a second one for the holidays. So reach out if you're interested. It's a lot of fun. We do a lot of poetry play together, and we talk about our solutions and our challenges together as leaders. So I'll leave my email in the chat, and salamat, mahalo nui loa for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm so glad I got to share my daily practice with you. Thank you.
Mahalo.